Alright, now we're going to make enchiladas. Now this is really important. This is enchilada sauce made from Anaheim chilies and various other things like garlic and onions and all those tasty things. Jean made this fresh tonight. It was made from Anaheim chilies that were grown organically at the farm co-op that we belong to. We helped raise these puppies too, so they're delicious. Alright, the next thing is meat. 2 pounds of ground round. For those of you who don't eat meat, don't worry, none of this will get in the meatless enchiladas. And don't forget, lots of salt and pepper on that ground round. Nice cast iron pan. Cook it till it's getting a little bit hard. Flash cook, keep the flavor in. Okay, now other important ingredients. Cheese. You got your cheddar cheese. Other cheddar cheese. Got your quesadillo rallado, which is melting style cheese, Mexican. And queso enchilado. This is the stuff that doesn't melt. It tastes better than any other cheese on earth. Another important ingredient, tortillas. You can make these out of flour tortillas or corn tortillas. And with the corn tortillas, I prefer the blancas with the white masa. These should be squishy when you get them, like Charmin. So if you buy them and they're hard, pass them by. Get some squishy ones. They're fresher. And it is also nice to have a beverage to go along with your cooking. And while not very Mexican, Maker's Mark seems to go along with whatever kind of cooking I'm doing. Alright, last ingredient, onions. Tonight I'm using yellow and red onions, both from the organic farm. Dice them up really, really fine. This is very important. The finer they are, the more it adds to the flavor. Some people don't like onions at all, so you can skip them if you want. But I find that some people that don't normally like onions in enchiladas or other foods will like these because you don't end up with big hunks of them in your mouth. There is actually one more ingredient. And the last ingredient, not onions, is love. I'm making these enchiladas because Milish is going to be here in South Bend and they're going to be staying with us overnight on Friday. So I want to have some good nosh for them. And enchiladas is something I grew up making with my family, and I always associate them with love. I associate cooking and welcoming people into your home with love. So the last ingredient here is love. Okay, basically what happens is you make a lasagna out of these tortillas dipped in sauce and the other ingredients, meat if you're putting that in, cheese and onions. And you keep layering those up, stacking the tortillas up in a stack. The difference between the enchiladas from the Santa Fe region of New Mexico and other enchiladas is that you don't roll them up like a burrito. This is traditionally how they're served in that part of New Mexico. The other thing that's interesting is if you really want to do an authentic New Mexico lunch, you'll want to have one of these with a fried egg sunny side up on top. Try it, believe me. It's actually really good even though it sounds disgusting. Alright, here's how it works. Bottom layer. Take a tortilla, put it in the sauce. The sauce should be hot, soaks in better. Make sure that it's completely covered with sauce. Turn it over. Sometimes I use my fingers. What's better is a fork and a spatula, and that way you can pick up the tortilla out of the sauce. Make sure it's got sauce on it. Lay it down in the pan. You're going to do that, layer the whole bottom of the pan, and then we'll go from there. Alright, layer 1 complete, right? Layer 1 complete. Next thing we need to do is put the stuff that goes in between the layers. Cheese. Right? And yellow cheese. Quesadillo rallado, or however you say that. Next is onions. Now, these were the meaty ones, which they're not. The meat would already be in the sauce. The meat flavors the sauce, so you want those to cook together. I'm going to do that after I make the veggie ones, because that way you don't pollute the veggie ones with meat. So, this is veggie. The only difference with the meat ones is the meat's floating around in the sauce, so when you ladle the sauce, in between the layers you get the meat too. That's the only difference. That's how it works. That's the stuff for the first layer. Now we got to put tortillas on top of those. Same thing we just did. Make sure they're good and slushy with sauce. Get them out of there. Put them on top, just like lasagna. Keep putting the layers on. After this, you got to decide how many layers you want. You can keep stacking these things up to, I'd say a tall one would be 4 or 5 layers. It would be about all you could go. You can do 3, 4, 5. If you get brave, you can do 6 layers if the pan's deep enough. Go for it. Okay, layer 2 done. Okay, so that's about it. These are all wrapped up, foil on top so that they can go in the oven when they're ready to be heated up. Everything's already cooked, so there's no cooking time, just long enough to heat it up. Now, a word about Mexican sodas. Very appropriate when you're having Mexican food, but the added bonus is many Mexican sodas are made with cane sugar instead of high fructose corn syrup. So, they're way better for you than the high fructose corn syrup laden sodas that come from the United States. So look for these, very tasty and a little better for you than your standard soda. So, happy enchilada everybody, share love.